Colin, could you read that again, please?
David and I have decided to move forward on the idea that that you talked about a little bit on the drawers, and you would pull out drawers and there would be something in the drawer or something. Like what we put in these drawers is documents and descriptions of the big five from people outside the Robbins House or within it. And also, we believe this is important because as you read us, and as written in a paper by the 11th grader, memory is more important and effective if it is tangible. So if you can like touch and pull out the drawers, it'd be tangible.
Matt, what do you got for us? What idea do you have for our project?
I don't have my complete proposal, but my idea was to create a presentation through Prezi and have it accessible through like QR codes around the house, and different parts of the house could be. You could have a timeline of a specific part of the house versus just having in general.
Okay. Well, a timeline for specific parts of the house?
Yeah, and what happened, might have happened in that.
In that room
Yeah.
or the other room?
In that room.
Okay, one room or the other. You can do it
Yeah.
for 2 rooms.
Yeah.
Good. Maybe 2 presents.
Yeah.
One room, the other room.
Yeah.
Good. What do you got?
So our group, me, Lucas, and Ben, want to do,
What? Can you read what you wrote?
so, we're working together to make an augmented reality. So for the augmented reality, we would find an app that allows you to make it for free, because most of the apps cost a lot of money to do that. And then we'll work together to come up with like 6 paragraphs, one for the introduction and one for each of the big 5 people in the Robbins House. And then we'll tape ourselves in the Robbins House reading the paragraphs And so at the end of it, you walk into the house and like you can see us like talking at the windows and stuff.
Fantastic. Okay.
All right, well,
do you have something to add to that, Ben?
Or we can do the job.
Take a look at your paper. What did you add? Anything else that you add?
What could we add to that? What could I add to that? Not much. I mean, like, we could have this thing. We could possibly be able to set up a link where, people could open up and they could click on one of the 6 options, like of the introduction or one of the big 5 members, and then they would be able to, and then there would be like on the camera thing, they'd be able to, there'd be like this I don't know, like this like light or something like that would show you where the video was taken, and they can put it over that and they can play the video and it'll look as if we were there, but we really aren't. So
That could be a lot of fun. Do you have something else to add, Lucas?
Well, it's just another idea other than Ben's is because when you guys open the Robbins House the first day, you put up the banners and we could attach the QR codes to one of the banners and then you could scan it with the person and then we would come up talking about that person.
Person could be
Cool. Person as an icon. Sure. We'll talk more about layers and how we might be able to use that, but I don't think it's nearly as, because the app that I was shown was free.
Yeah, the
Well,
app.
we
But
couldn't get to iTunes.
I couldn't figure out how to use it when I looked at it for 3 minutes. Okay, what do you got over here, guys?
So we were thinking of making like an interactive map with like different pinpoints on the map for different important events like in Concord history that involved like some of the big 5. And when you would click on the pinpoint, they would have like maybe a picture of the site and like a paragraph of what happened there. And also they would have like a date of when these things happened, so it would also be like a timeline like away.
Sort of like the pinning project, right?
Yeah. And
So we could use that same website, the pin website, which I believe is all free.
and we have like a
Can link it to
website.
a map of Concord Concord, or link it to the abolitionist map of Concord.
Yeah.
And have this stuff pop up.
Yeah, we have a
Description.
computer in the corner with like that tab and like the website tab.
Fantastic. Pete, were you doing the same thing?
Yeah.
Anything you want to add?
Then we could really nothing else.
Okay. Sam, what were you working on?
I was with Matt and Jake, so my project, I'm working with Matt and Jake, and we're focusing on what the room would have looked like back then. Now, we're probably going to do a virtual reality where you can scan the room with your smartphone or something like that, and the room will appear as it would have back then. We could do this by finding pictures online and then photoshopping them into virtual reality. We would have to research the time period and find out what they would have had back then. But as former slaves, they would have been very poor, so their house would not have been fancy, and they wouldn't have had a lot of furnishings. The walls would be easy to virtual reality because we could just scan the real walls that are still there and then copy them over the restored walls. Our main goal is to talk to an expert because they might know what may have been in the house. Also, they might know about where we might be able to find pictures, possibly the Concord Library, or might have actual furniture from that period that we can photograph. Overall, we want to find out how a poor former slave family would have lived in the early 1800s.
Nice. That is a well-constructed paragraph. Integrated studies. Who else hasn't spoken to Jake?
I was working with Sam.
Okay, what did you, can I see a paragraph? Did you add anything else? It's pretty tough to top that one. Anything else that you wanted to say?
We'll add to the room, you'll add something to look at.
Something to look at, to change the experience, so it is not just hearing, but seeing. Great. Ethan?
Basically, Paul and I were working together to basically make like a monopoly representation of Caesar Robbins House. Basically like Monopoly back then in like Caesar Robbins time. And we have and we put it like a kid section. We thought of it from like the game idea because Monopoly is basically a game. And also because back then like they had a lot of buildings possibly be built that could be like built, and then like jail would be like go down south or something like that. I don't know, just kind of the idea.
Yeah, you have to be careful.
Yeah.
Be returned to
Go down south.
compromise of 1850.
Yeah.
You land on it. To be returned to slavery.
And then like
Go down
the little house,
south.
instead like the little house that you can build would be like the Caesar Robbins house.
We can make it.
And the big one would be like the old
Oh, you can buy an old man's. You can buy an old man's instead of a.
Here, Mr. Morris,
Love
sit. Should we keep doing? Is that everyone?
it. Okay, last couple ones.
You have to
Yeah.
go to jail, go back to slavery.
Get to it. No. All right, what do we got? Quick.
I was thinking I could do a QR code scavenger hunt. There would be codes scattered around the house. At the beginning, there'd be a little paragraph that says, gives a little bit of information and to where to download a QR reader if they want to take part in the scavenger hunt. Then scattered around would be codes, and each code would provide information about abolition in Concord / the Big Five. And at the end, there would be a prize, a Drinking Gourd Project original pin, and they could pick it up from a person helping out and keep it. This would be interesting and difficult to work on.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Also, we could have a donations bin.
Donations.
Every single room we had.
Would you be in charge of collecting all the donations?
I also think there should be another game. Oh yeah. So it's like we take your slaves and your masters watching remember the game Going to Daddy? It's like a game where you try the kids try to go to a kitchen steal food. And you make your daddy lose. So what you do, it's just like that. It's you try to escape without waking up.
Here.
Interesting idea, but guys, remember, this is the story of Northern African Americans, right? This is not the story of Southern slavery, and it's not even the story of people who were enslaved. It's some people who used to be enslaved, right? And now are living free and struggling living in this house. All right, who else hasn't had a chance? David.
Okay, so I'm working with Colin on the drawers.
Yes.
So the only thing that I have to add to what he said is that, like with all the other projects that people in this class are doing, we could just reinforce them with the drawers, and like if there's like a recording that someone does, we could just have the typed up document in there along with like a timeline and other stuff.
Sure, terrific. Paul, what did you?
I'm just working with Ethan, and like ours would kind of be like an Eastern stuff, like a little kid game. It's kind of like Monopoly, like slavery and Cedar Robbins and like Civil War related things. It'll like teach people what it was like to live back in the 1800s.
Fantastic. What currency would you use, though? That's the question.
Oh,
Would you use I guess you'd have to use dollars. Would you use continental dollars at first, and then?
And then like, and then $5 and everything would cost like a lot less.
A lot less. Oh, you actually go back to open Monopoly. All right, guys.